Hey, what's up, everyone? Wayne Craig here. We're going to talk truck parking again. Talked about it yesterday on a post I did, and y'all are watching it, but you're just still mad with me. You just don't want to push that like button because when I talk about stuff that I know what I'm talking about, I am right. And if you go back to that post, a lot of good stuff in there about what's really going on, the nuances of what's going on. But our supply chain television station is doing a thing where they have four people. It's a CEO, I think, a CMO, an owner operator, and somebody else. And I just want to say the CEO, it's credibility. It's from the truck parking company, and it's credibility. You're talking about truck parking. Why not have them on there? And do you guys know what a CEO is supposed to do? Their ultimate responsibility, if you're public, give shareholders a return on their investment. That's what a CEO is there for. Or if you're not public, just, basically make a profit. Your job as a CEO, and I don't think anybody would disagree with this. Ultimately, it's not to solve problems. If they solve a problem on their way to profitability or getting a return on investment for their shareholders, that's even better. That's icing on the cake. They're number one. They are hired and get the big bucks to make more money, right? So most of them get to where they're at because they're very good at what they do. Speaking, they can talk a lot. I'm sure. I haven't seen it yet, but I'm sure that CEO of the truck parking is great at talking about truck parking. But it doesn't solve the issues of what's really going on. I mentioned yesterday about the nuances in truck parking and why we've been talking about this forever. They talked about it up in Capitol Hill as well. There are roadblocks, people. There are roadblocks that CEOs, CMOs, COOs cannot fix. And I'm going to say it again because this I think deserves to be repeated, is that really, as we move forward, the trucking industry and the truck drivers in particular have done nothing to ingratiate themselves with the public. In 2022, you had the untruthful convoy to DC. 2 years in to the president that's in right now, they did this to try to put their political will and tried to stop the supply chain, tried to really hurt individuals in America to stop the supply chain because of their political beliefs. Fact, that's end of story. I mean, they basically showed it when they showed up to DC, and it rankled a lot of people. And then all of a sudden, the Great Recession or the Great Depression, supply chain hit. And there's not a lot of people that, they have used up a lot of the goodwill doing stupid shit like that. And, when you have you have a lot of truck parking and all that, it's hard to get people in communities that want more truck parking because of the mess they leave behind. I've done a ton of videos there too. There is a plethora of reasons that a CEO could never fix. But let's go back to the truck parking CEO and the truck parking in particular. They're starting to branch out, and there are some truck stops that are using them now and to help get more paid parking into the truck stops. And it's really, really got a lot of tenured truck drivers upset that there's just more paid truck parking and not more free. And we're coming off in the supply chain in the trucking industry, a Great Recession or a Great Depression, which means that the truck stops are probably more than likely hurting as well. And the truck driver is not spending as much at the truck stop. And they have to make a living. They have to make a profit. And, that's just what it is. But the CEO is there to say, hey, we had a CEO on board. But as I mentioned earlier, if they solve any problems, it's going to be solving a problem on their way to profitability. There is really, truly a truck parking problem in the United States. There is. That's a fact. But to fix it, just talking about it and getting up on Capitol Hill is not going to change people's minds of whether or not they want more truck parking in their community. Y'all are missing again the main point. There's levels here of frustration with the public, with truck drivers, and what they've done and what they have tried to do just 2 years ago, and just basically the messes they leave behind. They're not doing themselves any favor, but what they do, their job, they have to do it or America wouldn't move. That's where there has to be a gap. There has to be not a gap, but you have to close that gap with someone who can literally talk to these communities and basically say, this is what we need, especially if the government gets involved. But I mentioned this in my post yesterday. Whenever has a government entity got involved and things are better? Now, there's been a few times, But the new president-elect and all you people that voted for him hate the government. But yet, see, this is what always got me in my career. You elected the president-elect for less government, drain the swamp, but yet you want government to jump in and give you free parking. In my opinion, you can't have it both ways. You can't. Either you don't want government regulations or you do these days. Doesn't seem to be any in between, does there, these days? There is so much going on, and a CEO is not going to fix it. It's not. You have to build those bridges back up from the truck drivers to the community. And over the years, I personally, on SiriusXM, helped stop the wheels. I helped stop it. I was on once a month or once every 3 weeks, 2 weeks on SiriusXM during COVID, during 2020, talking about how stupid it would be to have a strike during 2020. They just waited a couple of years and did it in 2022. And it was still stupid. All right, so watch all you want. Watch the CEO. Listen to the CEOs. They know they're experts in their field. They're great talkers. They're great communicators. But if they're solving an issue, it's to do one thing. They're solving their issues to make a better profit for them or their shareholders, and that's a fact. All right, see ya.